You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Sorry about that, folks. Been having having a lot of technical difficulties, but that's okay. Seems like we got it going for now. Welcome everybody. I hope everyone's doing all right. Welcome Heat. Welcome Michael Hassler. Blue Brother, thank you for the lurk. Derry Bennett, welcome. That's okay, I'm barely functioning myself. Oh boy. We got it going, folks. At least I think we do. Seems like it's working. Folks, we got a couple of things to cover. I presume this stream is not going to be as long. Unfortunately, I was stuck at work, so I could not start on time. And on top of not being able to start on time, I kept having some issues here, but in any case, in any case, we're here, and just in time too. Just in time. Today, we will be joined by Becky from the Beckisphere. So I think that's going to be a awesome chat. And then that's it. I think we're good after that. So just before we get started, couple of things. If you're on the YouTube side, keep liking the stream. I appreciate it. And make sure you're hitting that follow button, doing all the awesome stuff. Join the Discord, folks, this Saturday at about 6 p.m. We will be streaming the Michael Moore movie, Sicko. So I highly recommend, if you haven't done so, to check it out. And if you want to join us on that endeavor, make sure that you join us on the Discord. Consider checking out the merch store. Check out the Substack. The new article was just posted yesterday. Personally, I think it's a pretty good article. So if I'm not just saying. I'm just saying. Check it out. Consider subscribing since it's free. And yeah, do all the awesome stuff. Join the Discord. So a couple of things before we get this going. There are at least a couple of stories that we are looking at. Free Mario, though. That we are looking at. The Matt Gaetz report. The Matt Gaetz ethics report apparently will be released. Yeah, give his lawyer a power up. Jesse James, welcome. Whose emote is that? That's awesome. That's funny. The Matt Gaetz ethics report who the heck watches this crap? Apparently you do. Apparently you do. In any case, Adrian Vixen, gotcha. Gotta check them out. The Matt Gaetz report will be, child dater lost to Kevin McCarthy. This will be coming out in a couple of days. The House Ethics Committee has voted to release the ethics report into Matt Gaetz, which, in my opinion, I don't know if the fact that he's no longer in the running for Attorney General, or if he's no longer and he's no longer a congressperson, that this is the reason why they are releasing the report. So I don't know, but we're gonna find out in the next a few coming days, I imagine. Originally, the panel had voted to not release the report. And now they have. They changed their mind, I guess. According to the article on the AP, most Republicans have argued that any congressional investigation into Gaetz ended when he resigned from the House. Speaker Johnson also requested that the committee not publish the report. I assume because it makes them all look bad, right? Saying it would be a terrible precedent. While ethics reports have previously been released after a member's resignation, it is extremely rare. Gates noted that the Justice Department's separate investigation against him into sex trafficking allegations involving underage girls ended last year without any federal charges. Gates says he will be back in Congress and out the whole Congress. Okay. I mean, sure. Man, I if he really does that, I mean, like, I think technically he can return to Congress. Technically he can return to Congress. So, you know what? If he does, then, you know, yeah, spill the beans. Spill all the beans. On everybody. His two nemesis, McCarthy and the Age of Consent. True. The AP also reminds us that his political ally, Joe Greenberg, who served as the tax collector in Florida's Seminole County, admitted as part of a plea deal in 2021, just about 3 years ago, that he paid women and an underage girl to have sex with him and other men. The men were not identified in court documents when he pleaded guilty. Presumably, one of them could have been Matt Gaetz. In fact, this guy was prepared to testify. In that case, should it have ever manifested itself, he was prepared to testify. Greenberg was sentenced in late 2022 to 11 years in prison. And Matt Gaetz gets to skate scot-free. Scot-free. I don't think 11 years will erase his memory, but the statute of limitations may be a factor. Yeah, and I think he also pled guilty, so they may have gone lighter because he pled guilty. I think also that that has that has a effect. Keeps on clapping. Yep. You can you can get away with sex trafficking with the mere sentence of 11 years only by admitting guilt. And Yeah, that's it. Being influential and admitting guilt gives you quite the edge, apparently. Or nothing if you don't. Craft is welcome. Cognizant, welcome. We don't really treat those types of crimes very seriously. Welcome, welcome. We have some updates on a spending bill that's coming up. Apparently, Elon Musk is already exercising his influence by saying that anyone who votes for the spending bill deserves to be voted out in the next 2 years, which, of course, some Republicans, as an example, Representative Andy Biggs, confirming or stating that Elon's tweets are having an effect on some people, and he alludes to the fact that even going so far as potentially moving votes within the Capitol, folks. That's not democracy. Like I don't know how else to put that, but that's not democracy. That's not how any of this is supposed to work. If the richest man in the world puts out a tweet, like, never mind about what the spending bill is or whatever legislation is coming up. That's not the point. At least for this purpose. The point is a billionaire can tweet that anyone who doesn't vote the way he wants to, whether for or against certain legislation, would be voted out, and would be voted out, and or should be voted out, I guess. And of course, he has enough wealth to, I guess, fund the campaigns that would oust members of Congress that do not go along, is the implicit threat. This particular bill includes funding disaster for my state, whoops, which incidentally, the Louisiana Republican and Speaker Mike Johnson is discussing dropping the $100 billion in disaster and other attachments instead of passing a clean continuing resolution. So, that's the type of stuff that's being considered, or not. That's the kind of things that we are talking about dropping. So, yeah. All they do is try to leverage their lemming brigade to do whatever he says just because. Yep. Didn't Elon Musk make a lottery for people who voted for Trump, which is anti-democratic, and normally in other countries you would go to jail for that? Yeah, I mean, this is like unambiguous to me. To me, it is unambiguously bribery or some kind of improper use for elections, or improper use of funds for elections. You're essentially buying votes. Now, of course, the way it was done presents a bit of a gray area, and it really actually doesn't matter if no one's going to prosecute or look into whether or not, like, strictly there can be anything done. Um, some have said that this is just flat out just illegal. Some have said this is so gray that we don't know. And some have said it is legal. But unfortunately, in any case, none of that matters. Even if it was a crime, like a straight up crime, it wouldn't matter because no one's looking into it. No one is not really. So Elon was building a database of likely voters he can sell every 2 years. Yeah, I mean, probably that's the end game of what he was doing, but I think it's the manner as to how he was doing that. Yeah, if only bribery was a crime. Yeah, I mean, depending on how you do it, it's actually legal. Depending, like you can't go to a congressperson and give them $100 and say, like, do this, right? But if you, for example, fund their super PAC and give them $10 million, then incidentally, maybe your legislation might pass. Or might not pass if it's not to your benefit. That's how things work here. So bribery is completely legal. As long as you do it, the right way, then at that point it would be legal bribery. You know. Takes notes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, bribery is fine. Bribery is completely fine and legal, so long as you do it the right way. If you don't do it the right way, then you go to jail. If you do it the wrong way, then you end up like Bob Menendez, facing quite the amount of charges. If it wasn't for bribery, the last school shooting wouldn't have happened. Everything is legal if you can afford to litigate the charges into oblivion. Yeah, that's true. If you have Elon Musk money, you can practically do anything you want. The last one was just yesterday, wasn't it? There's been several events. There's been several. There was one that just happened. With the school, where a child got a hold of a handgun and opened fire at her school. She then turned the gun on herself. Apparently, I think there was 3 victims, as far as I know right now. Three victims that have passed, that were killed. I don't know how many injured. There was another incident with a family. There was another incident, I believe, where like half a dozen people got shot. I don't know how many of those died, but there was several. 8 shot in all. Okay, so about 8. Okay, perfect. So oh, you mean the kids in the school? In the school, gotcha. There's just so many to keep up with. It's actually like it's actually pretty freaking sad. Um, that that I have to that we have to ask which one within the span of like a week. Okay, within the span of a week, like there was like at the very least like 3 prominent incidents that happened. One was at a school, one was in like a neighborhood, and one I think was like a family where like several family members were shot at some kind of meeting or something or other. I mean, there was a few. Uh, Anyways, yeah. This is the only came to national news because it was a female and a private school. Yep. Only novel ones get reported on widely. It's just a spectator sport now. Yeah. You got 30K deaths per year because of guns. Germany has less than 100. Yep. I believe that. I believe that. We have 120 guns per 100 people here. Yeah, we have more guns than people. We have more guns than people. 1 second, folks. All right. Oh, it's that time soon, folks. Soon. I'm just we're just on standby, folks. It's going to be pretty soon. Pretty soon. Wolfglen, welcome. Hopefully we don't have as many technical difficulties as I had just now trying to get everything going. It's wild. It's really wild. I think honestly, I think I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with my with my video. I don't know, but yeah. Hopefully everything is gonna be okay, and we don't have to. Oh, did that actually sound? Did that actually make a noise? Let me see. Let me go to this one. I said it before, if more guns meant more safety, the US would be the safest country in the world. Correct. Oh, I'm not here. Okay, so that's just being outputted differently. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, I'm just curious. Let's see something. Let's see. If I tell this to output here, and I go to, let's say, the discussion room. Ah, yes. Okay. We're good, folks. Okay, you don't hear it, but I do. I see it on my side. Okay, excellent. Excellent, folks. Okay, I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be all right. Okay, so as long as we have as long as we have everything going, I think we'll be all right. I kind of did a test in the background here. I think it'll work. If it doesn't, then we'll figure it out. But I think we'll be all right. Um, I think we'll be all right. It shouldn't be long now at this point. Um, People are calling New Zealand Aotearoa after the Maori name for the North Island. I said it before, if more guns meant more safety, then the US would be the safest country in the world. Yeah, oh man, if only, right? We got breaking news from a couple of hours ago. The U.S. Senate overwhelmingly voted for the $895 billion defense bill, setting policy for the Pentagon on today, Wednesday, despite the inclusion of a controversial provision on transgender medical care for minors. So it looks like this ended up passing with the Senate, which means that this had to have had Democratic support. So that's cool. That's nice. That's great. That's excellent. I'm glad. I'd love it. I'd love seeing the Democrats really defending defending trans people. I love it. You love to see it, folks. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. This is absurd. I heard it on a couple YouTuber channels, and I was like, do you live in a fantasy world? Yeah, people in New Zealand live in they live in a different world. Hi, how much time did I miss? Not much. Not much. You're good. Because they don't. Correct. The main cause of death among minors in the U.S. is, yes, gun violence. I can't even think of how I would defend this statistic. You can't. It's indefensible. The thing is, like, when you talk to any of these people, like, they can't. It's just like it's almost dystopic. It's almost dystopic because it's really not defensible. Like, there is no good excuse for any of this. It's no, they don't accept the reality of what's happening. Exactly. They bury their heads and fingers in their ear. Exactly. La 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 la. I can't hear you. And like, if the Sandy Hook thing, didn't move, Congress to make any action, then like at this point, it's just like, yeah, I guess dead children doesn't draw the line. I guess dead children doesn't. It really doesn't mean anything. So like that's where we're at on the discussion. So if the repeated stories about dead children aren't moving anything, then like I don't know what to tell you. It's just like it's purely just dystopic. I'm a parent of a second grader. Second grader called the police in Wisconsin, and it made me angry and sick. Yeah, I mean, like it should, because in a normal world, you would look at this and you would say, this should never happen again. We should do whatever we can to make sure that the scenario and conditions for children getting shot in their school becomes as little as possible, as close to zero, preferably zero as possible. I mean, like a normal response would be to address the problem and say, you know what, this is unacceptable, and we need to do what we need to do to make that number as close to zero or zero if possible, like Australia did. Exactly. So yeah, the normal response is to be angry. It is to be angry, and it is sickening because like anyone who doesn't feel anger or disturbed, then like I don't know, man. It's so normalized here. It's actually crazy. How normal it is. We have to stay home with her. I see no other option, and that makes that makes me mad. And they won't protect her, right? Because they can't. They can't. They won't. And the people that do have the ability to make laws to make our community safer refuse to do it. This is a conscious decision to not legislate any of this. I mean, there's no other explanation because, like, this isn't new. This has been a phenomenon for quite a while. In fact, it's such a phenomenon that The Onion, The Onion literally keeps the same article on standby. When it inevitably happens, they just repost it. They just repost it because it happens so often that they just already have it on standby. No way to prevent this, says the only nation where this regularly happens. That's the title of the article, and it's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah, exactly. That's it right there. It's so wild because like if you actually look at the article, it's actually posted in May of 2014. So that's about 10 years ago. About 10 and a half years ago. That's how long this thing was posted. Nothing well regulated about our firearms here. Yep, I forgot this name, but the idea to prevent school shootings just by limiting the number of exits of a building. Yeah, that's wild. There are at least 2 lobby groups involved in making our schools unsafe. The NRA, also the groups trying to privatize education. Yep. Yep, a well-regulated militia should exclude frequent mass shootings. Right. Like, just to be clear, this isn't even a Second Amendment issue, because I'm pretty sure, like, even if you wanted to, go that route, like, this exactly, Quasi-Pack, it has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. All right. Yeah, Becky is on Discord, so let's see if we can get this started. Let's see. Can I drag? No, I can't do that. They have to physically be in the channel. All right, let's see. Come on. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. There would be a crush that's very, very bad. Say it was only exit in high school. Let's say 1,000 students. It was a fire. Yep. All right. Yay. Okay, so let me move you to the discussion room. So yeah, I got you. Hold on. Here we go. Yay. All right. Look at that. There you go. Ah, yeah, I can't. There you go. Awesome. Oh no, it's all good. That's all good. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I decided to be a little bit more festive. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks, it is time. Here we have the Beckisphere joining us for an awesome chat. I'm super excited. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Sorry it took so long. I was stuck at a work meeting.
Oh, it's all good. Yay! It sounds good. It looks good. I think we're all good. Yeah, I've like been super lazy, so it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll eventually
You're
take
hitting
it
No
off.
Shave November
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
in December.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, just had a fellowship evaluation for what I'm working on because I'm like a fellow for a local city here, working on their climate action plan. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's going well. Good reviews, so that's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I feel like man, things are a little bit rough.
hmm
And I feel like the general atmosphere of everything seems to be from nervousness to anxiety to straight up even a bit scared. There's there's a sense of uneasiness and uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best way to maybe perhaps start to deal with it is to kind of build community, and not just build community, but talk with each other, which is kind of like why I'm gonna try to do a circuit run and bring on some awesome people like yourself, and just have chit chats and try to bring out the small lowercase W's where we can find them. And I think that's probably one of the important things to do as we get ready to deal with this incoming 4 years of politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we're all stuck on this ride, whether we want to be on this ride, whether we signed up for this ride or not. We're all stuck here, and so
We all have to find out, even if we didn't fuck around. It's not fair.
exactly, exactly, and that's actually exactly the term. We're all finding out whether or not we wanted to or not.
Yeah.
So I was watching. Well, we were watching your last video. I believe I want to say like a week or something. The more recent video, or was it the one before that? I believe you were talking about some of the things that were happening on the more local and state level, as far as like whether it be policies or whatnot. I'm actually interested in knowing a little bit more about that because we can talk about what happens on the federal level because that usually gets a little bit more attention. But
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but how you actually get power or do stuff that affects you more directly is by local politics, really. And I think it's important to highlight how that process looks to people, especially since, from my understanding, you have a little bit more insight on that. So I know you were talking about some of those stories. Can you go over some of that?
Yeah, so some of the stories I covered on that video include billions of dollars going towards climate restoration projects and climate resiliency projects in states like California and Hawaii and what was the other state? There was another one that like pushed out their resilience plan for another 25 years, like added to it. So there's some of those statewide things where it's like, okay, even if they're not necessarily like full-fledged towards clean energy, they at least recognize that they need to prepare themselves for a new climate future. And then there's other smaller ones like in Nashville, Tennessee, including walkability and focusing more on just like reducing transportation emissions in that way. And I don't know whether or not their messaging focused on reducing emissions or whether or not it just focused on like improving livelihood, you know? So I would be interested in seeing how some of those projects came about through messaging, you know, especially in some of the more like red states. We are seeing progress in different locations that you would necessarily expect. And I feel like oftentimes it has to do with people either being jaded by the pollution level or wanting to be able to walk to more places or wanting more options for where they get their energy supply or recognizing that the weather is becoming more extreme and wanting to prepare for that. And so, you know, we're seeing, even if they're not calling it climate mitigation and resiliency building, it's still like that, you know. So those are some of the projects that we talk about on the video, and then some of the other ones I've seen since then. It's like New York has put a price on congestion levels, so like hopefully less cars are going into the city area. They have to pay money at certain like times to do so, and that's a popular thing that's been successful in Europe, and so it's good to see that it's coming over into different cities in the US. I hope that California, like LA area, adopts something like that. That'd be cool. I mean, here where I'm working, I just got an email from a local city being like, "Hey, we're working on our micro mobility," which is like, you know, increasing ability for biking and walking and all that kind of stuff. You know, we're interested in doing that. Are you guys wanting to collaborate with us to, you know, increase walkability in your city next to us? And it's like, yeah, that'd be great. You know, more organizations and like different cities are like collaborating together, at least in California. Like counties have done a good job at putting all the different city sustainability folks together in one room and talking about what's going well and what's not going well, you know, and what's the goals for next year. So even though things are bleak in the federal standpoint, like progress is still definitely being made on the ground level, and like it's not slowing down.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Florida. Actually, funny enough, I have somebody in the front lines there, and essentially what they're doing is exactly that, climate mitigation. I don't know what they're calling it down there, but it's really exactly that. It's all based on restoration of the wetlands, and addressing the increasing sea level rise by natural methods, which they say that the actual ecosystem itself will actually take care of sea level rise with the trees, because as sea level rises come, the type of trees will start to appear to help with that. And I think mangroves also are way more important to that as well. So
Yeah.
they've been working on that, and it's kind of like what you guys are doing. It's not, they don't call it, you know, we're doing we're doing this awesome climate whatever. They're just calling it mitigation. As far as I know, that's what he refers to it. I don't know like what the official plans are called. I imagine that they have to walk on eggshells in Florida. Yeah. Especially with Rick Scott and all these other people.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing, is that you kind of have to work around not just like straight up calling it climate work, you know? Like you have to be more strategic about it, which is super annoying to have to do, but like we even have that problem in California too. Like another thing I talked about on that video was that, you know, there was a lawsuit with the city of Berkeley, which was one of the first cities in the Bay Area to try to put a straight up gas ban. And the California group of restaurants or whatever sued them successfully. It was like, you can't do that.
Mm.
And so now, because all of the cities in the Bay Area designed their REACH codes, which are basically like codes that go beyond the state level requirements to try to like reduce emissions. Since they all designed their REACH codes off of the Berkeley city, we all have to redo our REACH codes because the city got like overturned. And so instead of being straight up like, oh, this is a gas ban, we're just saying basically, oh, well, you have to hit a certain level of energy efficiency. And it just so happens that fossil fuels cannot reach that level of resiliency or efficiency. And so that's, you know, you kind of just have to work around. And that's like a video that I want to do in the near future is talking about ways about talking about climate change stuff without saying climate change, you know, talk about air pollution, talk about monopolization, talk about you know, corporate greed, talk about
Yeah,
you know, there's so many reasons why we need to overturn the fossil fuel regime. It's not just because they're killing our planet, it's also because they're like killing the soul of this country, you know, and
like,
they're killing us
literally.
locally too, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of other ways you can put it, you know, just calling them a bad neighbor, because they are, you know. They're like, people are so NIMBY, not in my backyard about solar panels and stuff, but like, why would you want a fracking device in your backyard? And yet they're literally on the parking lots of schools still in SoCal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we just passed a rule to make it so new infrastructure can't be built a certain distance away from places of worship and schools and stuff. So it's crazy.
And it's true. I mean, literally, the fossil fuel industry isn't just a major driver of climate change, but they, quite frankly, literally make us sick. They destroy our health. They destroy our air. They destroy our water. And if you want to talk about the economics and how bad this has been for economic reasons, you can also do that. I think it's kind of like the same conversation that is being had about the healthcare industry. You know, with the recent events, people have been talking about just how predatory the healthcare industry is, and just how destructive and inhumane the healthcare industry really is. When you have something that you can't go without, you need healthcare. It's not like a negotiable thing.
Right.
You know, you could see just how bad it can be when you privatize something that you need. And the same thing can be said about the fossil fuel industry. As it turns out, I don't know, this is just me, but you kind of need air and food to be able to live.
Clean water.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, maybe some people are built differently, but I'm just saying.
I don't know. I guess we have a high bar.
Setting high bars here. The same logic can be extrapolated by saying, like, if we can recognize just how predatory and how destructive this healthcare industry is, we could probably turn that same logic on the fossil fuel industry.
What's funny is Ben Shapiro accidentally did that when he was talking about the CEO killing. You know, he was being the usual like corporate shell that he is, and talking about how you know, just because the system is not working for you doesn't mean that the CEO is going into work every day because he wants to kill your grandma or whatever. And then he continued and he's like, that's like saying the fossil fuel industry is purposely wanting to kill your planet. And I'm like, oh yes, please combine those. Please connect those dots for people. Keep talking, Ben. That's excellent. Keep going. Yes.
As a matter of fact, they are knowingly doing this because they've known for decades at this point. So
their
as a matter of
told
fact,
them in the 70s this is going to happen, and they were very accurate. So,
surprisingly.
Yes, Ben, keep talking. And then he pulled up Bernie Sanders. I'm like, It just he is he doing an ad for Bernie Sanders? Like, what is going on? Like, you are actually like making the case. Thank you. Like,
Yeah, his own comment
I don't know.
section started to roast him over that. Like, look,
I
bro,
know. So good.
you know, you may be able to sell us on like, you know, the bigotry. Just keep giving us the bigotry stuff. We don't want to hear
Yeah.
about that. We can't be BS. Like, once you take those like those blinders off, you know, you start to see the reality of things. If Ben would have kept his mouth shut, and just talked about like the next whatever outrage that you're supposed to be angry about, like, I don't know, litter boxes in classrooms or something, whatever.
Right.
The
They're
you know the
transing your children. Yeah.
right, that's what you're supposed to be angry about. He made the mistake of actually putting something that everybody has experience with,
Yeah.
and that's the healthcare industry.
hmm
And I mean, I think, as I was saying, the same logic can be thrown back at the fossil fuel industry and continue to hammer that point that, you know, this is a very, very, very destructive industry. And the fact that they have tied themselves to continuously call themselves energy, to hold that as a pseudo monopoly, right?
Yeah.
It can't be. That's just not how. That's just not how this works.
Yeah.
Because
And that's what's it's so frustrating because again, like the whole response to the CEO death just shows that if you actually had a party that ran on socialized healthcare, they would have fucking won, you
Mhm.
know? And it's the same thing with fossil fuels. Like, people are like, no, don't touch that issue. It's so contentious with like red states and stuff. Okay, but like, people at the end of the day, regardless of their aisle, it goes back to class war. Like, it's bottom line, they don't want their energy to be expensive. They want freedom of choice. They want their their health to be secure and the future of their children to be secure, like save the children and all that, right? Like,
Mhm.
they want all those things. They want things to be cheaper. Okay.
I think we lost you for a second there.
Oh no,
Wait. Oh, I think we're back.
my mic disconnected because it's an asshole. One sec. I need.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. In the middle of the rant. Really, Raycon? Rude. But anyways, so like, bottom line, like, they want things to be less expensive.
Mhm.
They want to have freedom of choice. They want to have freedom of health. They want to have a future for their kids. Those are all things that the fossil fuel industry and climate change are working against. You know, there are so many more simple ways that it could have been put during the election instead of continuing to go with all energy is good. You know, they could have gone in the corporate monopolization direction. They could have gone in the reduced costs for food and energy because climate change is making everything more expensive and destabilized. Or they could have just gone in the direction of, clean air and water, which I think is the winning strategy, is just localize clean air and water. Talk about it as a pollution issue because people can wrap their heads around it. Greenhouse gases are a pollution. They're not
Mhm.
separate. It is a pollution. And so if we understand that we don't like air pollution from tailpipes and we
Yep.
don't like, pollution that's causing things like acid rain, then we should be able to understand that we don't like pollution that's coming out of fossil fuel companies. And we don't like the fact that the fracking industry has made that their fluid is patented and can't even be like openly said what chemicals they're putting into your water. Like, that kind of stuff seems a little incomprehensible, and yet
Yeah.
it's actually fine. Oh, and also we give billions of dollars of subsidies to them, so the idea that they are the less expensive fossil fuel is just artificial. So,
Mhm. Yeah, get rid of the subsidies and see how much it really costs.
Right. And also, just because we're giving them more land and access doesn't mean they're going to drill more. I mean, they're going to have a tough time with Trump constantly being like, "Oh, we want to drill more. We want to open up more fields and stuff." Because no, the fossil fuel companies want to keep prices high. They have said
Right.
that directly many times. They want to keep prices high by keeping supply low.
Right,
So,
because right now, you need gasoline.
mhm,
You need gasoline to go from point A to point B. As of right now, that is like the main uh, source of fuel for transportation is mostly gasoline, right? Or diesel
yeah,
or some version of that.
yeah,
So in a way, it's inelastic. You can't.
mhm,
That's why they can do that. That's why they can
yeah,
all be a cartel. Even though there's several companies, they all really just operate like airline companies. Where if
yeah,
one does it, they'll be like, all right, we're all gonna cooperate and do the same thing. So no matter where you go, you're getting screwed.
yeah,
So it's essentially a economic issue where you have an industry that has gotten that should not be a private industry. Energy should not be a private industry. Um, that should be run by the government.
yeah,
That should be run by the government because, as we see, the good people at PG&E have done, they can't be bothered to upkeep infrastructure because it costs too much. They can't be bothered to whatever it is. It should be run by the government.
yeah,
Things like that it just can't be privatized because you end up with problems like this.
mhm,
And if, say, all these industries were nationalized, then you would have, I think, a better chance of moving away from fossil fuels in a much faster way.
yeah. I agree. Yeah. So it's, that's why it almost just, it works better to have the fight stay local, because you can connect with people on these on the ground issues in a way that can be tricky for people to wrap their heads around from a federal level. It's frustrating that like the top issue for everyone every year is the economy, but it's like, okay, all these other factors that you say you don't care as much about, they directly or indirectly impact the economy. So, like, how can you say economy is the top issue for me, climate change is at the bottom of the list?
Yeah, it's because I think personally, I think it's human beings as a general, not everybody, but as a general, it's kind of hard to conceptualize the big picture of what is actually happening.
Yeah.
The Earth and the way these ecosystems work are incredibly complex, and most people, just don't know what it means when when, for example, the Amazon falls. They don't know what that they're not conceptualizing it because it's not affecting them in the here and now.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the issue. Part of the issue is a lot of propaganda by the fossil fuel industry, and then of course, checkmate is that they own a lot of the government, so it doesn't really matter what we think or know, right?
Yep. True. Yeah, and they're behind the plastics industry too, which is literally like in everything. Yeah, which is why, again, I go back to, I think the best form of marketing is having to do, or PR having to do with this issue, is focusing on health and localized pollution,
Yeah,
because you just want to get every community to be like, ew, I don't want that in my backyard, you know? And then
right.
suddenly the fossil fuel industry doesn't have anywhere to set up shop anymore, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's important to point out, or at least try to link the stuff that you were saying with plastic, because more and more people are becoming aware of just how bad microplastics are. Like, they're
And PFAS, yeah.
everywhere, everywhere. Like in the Arctic ice, there's PFAS.
Hmm.
It
In the
is,
clouds,
yeah,
in breast milk.
everywhere, Yes, quite literally in our blood,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I think, what was it that we saw the other day? It was it's pretty freaky. It was every like adult or every person has like at least a credit card's worth of plastic.
They eat a
Um,
credit card's worth of plastic.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it's like, whew, yeah, and it turns out that
Yeah.
the way plastics are made, they come from fossil fuels. That's how
Yes.
plastic is made.
Yeah.
So it absolutely is a health issue. Um, and I think since that is very, very pertinent nowadays, yeah, I think that's a good strategy.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going to be at some point, a baby or a person's going to be killed, and it's going to be that they had a microplastic in their brain or something like that. Like that shit's coming, unfortunately. So, anyways, I was supposed to cheer you guys up. But it's hard. I mean, I think I said this last time a long time ago when we streamed, but like my main thing is just like if in the end things go to shit still, I can't say I didn't try. Like that's just kind of my mentality towards things.
Yeah.
And I think also just doing the work in my real life has helped me kind of chill with my anxiety a little bit because I'm doing my own part. And so that's just always what I recommend for everyone to do is to just find a part of the movement that they um, are interested in that bridges the divide between interest, capability, and skill level.
Mhm.
Find the thing that's in those three, and then join whatever group, and don't do it alone because
Yeah.
individual action, while it can be useful, particularly having to do with peer pressure, like if you do it and other people say you do it, it even works like if you don't even have to talk about it. Like I've gotten my family into being way more environmental just by existing the way I am, but it's so much easier to have a group to talk with and to lament with, and that's obviously one of the reasons why I created the Beckisphere, is to have that community. But there's so many really great local organizations that are out there everywhere. The amount of environmental groups that exist it's just like immeasurable, and it's going to continue growing as more and more people get concerned. And so just find the one that goes with your niche, one of them, and yeah, and then just sit in on meetings. Just start with that, sit on meetings, and then eventually maybe you'll sign yourself up for something, and go from there. Like if you don't have very much time in the day, if you're super busy, like at work, got kids, got cats, whatever, like you don't have to dedicate very much time. Like just a lot of these groups have like one meeting a month kind of thing. And that way you can at least be updated on what's happening in your community, whether or not your community has a climate action plan, whether or not your community has a sustainability coordinator, whether or not your community has a foodware ordinance to reduce plastic food waste. That's something that I'm working on, having my city pass as a foodware ordinance. The county already did, but it's not enforceable unless your city does it. Honestly, maybe I could just create a checklist of like all the things, like does your city have this? Does your city have that? Does your city have this? If not, then you need to, bug them, and just make local impact that way.
Yeah. I think that's actually pretty good. So like folks who feel like that they can't do anything. Is, there is things you can do. And I don't expect everyone to be able to enact change on the country's level, but as you said, if you get together with a local environmental group, or if one doesn't exist, and perhaps if you have that ability, you can start one, or if that's not an option, then look at what your council, who is your council member, for one, just who is it, like what are you working with here? Who are these people? What standards do they have as far as your local, I don't know, environmental rules, as far as they are even concerned? I think that's where it starts. Really, it's at your local level, because you can't one person can't do everything. One person can't be expected to shoulder something that is a systemic problem. So you're gonna have to be engaged, even if it's at the local level. Even those small things where you can get one local city to do one thing. I mean, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. Something that's becoming more popular is climate coffee shop times. What is it called? Climate coffee house, I think. Those are becoming more popular, where basically you literally meet people that are also interested in climate change in your community. You meet them at a coffee shop, set up a time, work with like Facebook or Nextdoor or whatever, and just create a little coffee house moment where you guys can talk about climate change issues and find your people. So if there's no organization in your area and you don't exactly have the full capacity to start a whole club, just starting the conversation, because again, like only 6% of Americans talk about this regularly. So, the bar is low. So starting it that way is a really good way to go about it. And then again, being aware of what your city's done and what it hasn't done. Just, become a pain in their ass is always really helpful. Because I mean, worst comes to worst, they say no, and Lord knows they say no a lot. But like, at least if you show that is a priority for the community, then that's better than it not existing on the books at all. And eventually, it becomes a bigger noise and bigger priority, and that's how you get momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to answer Misty, hi Misty. Yeah, we do need a lefty ALEC. It's hard because ALEC and other organizations like it are formed entirely unethically, and that's kind of not the lefty way, so that's why it's hard to do it.
Yeah, it's also yeah, I see what you're saying. It's also kind of difficult seeing that these organizations, the people that are in ALEC, are pretty freaking wealthy.
Yeah.
And we have people power. That's what we have. We have people power. But we don't have capital as much.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we would have to use to our advantage. We have people power.
Yeah.
Capitalize on the fact that there are certain opportunities that come up to mobilize people and get people caring about something. In this case, climate change. Opportunities will be there, and you just have to seize. The left, everyone collectively as the left has to seize on it when it comes. Like this opportunity, like the shooting.
Yeah.
That was an opportunity to talk about healthcare and the broader conversation about capitalism and the broader.
I wish we had done it before the election.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Oh man, I've heard that. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Like, would it have made a difference? Like, if we were having this would it force?
I mean, it probably wouldn't have made a difference because Democrats are too stupid to realize that would have been a good pivot moment.
Right.
I don't trust that they would have recognized it as a pivot moment. But if they did, then that would be cool. Also, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why it probably didn't happen that way is because the shooter's like a Joe Rogan fan and probably voted for Trump, ironically. So like it would have given fuel to Democrats.
The wrong lessons would have been learned.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. But yeah, in some of the other comments and stuff, I think that from my experience so far in my fellowship, just making fossil fuels obsolete is one of the best methods. Like the fact that, and I didn't even know this, in the county next to me, there is also a clean energy, a publicly owned clean energy utility. So there's two right next to each other, one for each county, and they basically run on community solar and hydropower and stuff, and they made PG&E obsolete in that way, you know? And those organizations are city run and they provide grants and everything, and it's great. So like, that's like an example of making PG&E obsolete. I mean, they still run gas, so then the next step is getting gas out of facilities, because then PG&E will have nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing for fossil fuels. Like, just make them obsolete. Like, boycotting can work to some extent, but like the best method is just making them obsolete by changing the technology that exists.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to fight against it, so be prepared for that, because they're really good at, you know, butting in and tapping in on organization phone calls and all that fun stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the almighty dollar, right? Like they're not gonna give that up, not willfully.
No.
Not willfully.
Yeah. I will say the next video that I release, I've been trying to do good at doing a every 2 weeks release schedule. Now that I finally feel like I've got my schedule together, which is great that this fellowship only lasts 11 months. So I'll be uprooted in like, you know, another 7 months. So expect the schedule to eventually die again. But for now, I've gotten it together where the next video is going to be another good news video, centered around a particular state that has raised the bar for climate law for that state. I'll leave you hanging on which state that is. If folks have been in my stream, we did already cover it a few weeks ago. But yeah, so look forward to more good news and more fun facts about Rue, of course. I think I'll probably have a video about him meeting Vetra. So I'm really excited.
I mean, that's why we're here, really.
I know. I see on your VODs. Every time you're like, okay, where's the fun fact for Rue? That's the real reason I'm here. You're such a cat dad.
He's adorable.
He's so cute. He's such a good boy. I've been dishing him for the kitten recently, and I feel bad about that. But because the kitten flew over here to California, she was such a good traveler. She did so good. She did so good. She's such a good kitten. She's excellent.
That's awesome, because that's quite a journey.
It is, especially because the flight was delayed by 6 hours. So she was just chilling in an airport for a really long time. But yeah, no, she's perfect. She's wonderful. And Vetra is a Mass Effect reference. If anybody watches Mass Effect, my boyfriend likes Mass Effect. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to play those. I need to play those games. I mean, they've been out for quite a while, but like, I never actually got around to playing the Mass Effect like series. There's several games, and one of my friends has them all, and he's played it. Thinks it's fantastic. But I've never gotten around to doing so. So
yeah, the only video game he's gotten me into, Portal a little bit, and Little Kitty Big City, or Big City Little Kitty. Have you played that game?
Mm-mm.
You play as a black cat who got lost in the city and is trying to go home, and then gets like a bunch of missions from like the local pigeons and
that's awesome.
It's so cute. It's so cute. I highly recommend. It is a great way to numb your brain. Yeah, so that was a very fun game that I played for a bit. I think it's on Switch, something like that.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. It's a really good game. It's a Japanese game, I believe.
Gotcha. Yeah. I played Stray when it came out. And
is that a similar concept?
I mean, like you're a cat, and you're in this like dystopic, cyberpunk future, and your job is exactly that: escape, the city, or go back to your cat friends that you lost. And it is an emotional roller coaster. So you have to prepare yourself for that.
Hey, do
Little
cats
Kitty is more
die in it?
cartoonish.
Okay.
No,
Do-
I would
do-
not play it. No.
Okay, good. Okay,
I
as
can't.
long as that's okay.
I
I'm
would.
like, humans can die, it's fine. But like, oh my god, if a cat or a dog dies, I can't watch it anymore. There needs to be a disclaimer before any movie that has that.
Yeah. I would. No, I would not play it.
You have 3 cats, right?
Yep. As
Yep.
of right now, there are 3 cats. There he is.
There's the star of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, he's so good. Oh, there we go. The lighting adjusted. It's perfect.
There's your
My
Void.
co-host. Yes. My Void co-host.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He knows more about climate change than any human at this point, I'm sure. Oh, yes. Okay, apparently Little Kitty Big City is more cartoonish, Stray Cat is more action adventure. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Kitty is definitely like very lighthearted.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that I should give it a go.
There's like different achievement points that you can get by how many like pigeons you catch, or like they don't show them being eaten. It's just like they go poof. It's like, oh, that's convenient. You just catch them. I think they're even called catch and release. I'm like, it didn't get released, but that's fine.
It got released. It got released in our hearts and minds.
Yeah, they got released from life.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I need to. There's so many like ways to like distract myself. Lately, my main thing has just been going to the gym. That's been my main like side thing. I've started doing weightlifting and stuff, so that's been really fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So, trying to be the buff climate change person.
There you go.
There you go. Just
The
add on to my character.
Yeah.
You're gonna see me in like a muscle tee, just like jacked out, talking about climate change.
There you go. Becky's gonna be the swoletariat.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other. I think, the other comment I was going to make was that we have to remember that when the Paris Agreement was signed, which was only 10 years ago, we were expecting the planet to be warming closer to like 3 to 4 degrees. And now the expectation has dropped to at most like 2.7, which is still completely unacceptable. But it's a good reminder that even though progress seems slow in the moment, things have moved at an exponential rate. Even since I started my channel 4 years ago, I would have never expected the Inflation Reduction Act to happen. And so that's something that does keep me going, that I try to stay positive on it. Is yes, also the bad things have been happening exponentially, but so are the good things. And so hopefully that trend will continue.
Yeah, I think it's important because the burnout is real.
Yeah.
Because like, especially if you are constantly engaging with what's happening on the ground and constantly looking at have you seen the movie Don't Look Up?
I did a review of that movie on my channel.
I'm pretty sure we watched it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Did we?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I was in the picture for you at that point.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
It was like right before we connected. But
Gotcha. Yeah. But it's like you're constantly watching and tracking this asteroid coming, and you know that can be pretty overwhelming. So I mean, I guess that's the attitude to take, right? When you're constantly plotting that asteroid and you're constantly looking at it and knowing where its trajectory going to hit, and
Yeah.
telling said people that this is happening.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with for all intents and purposes, Brando. Or Brando? How's that? The president from Camacho. Brando Camacho from Idiocracy, the president of Idiocracy, effectively is a like wrestling actor heel dude. So that's who we're dealing with. That's who we're dealing with. So in the face of all of that, well, I mean, don't look up addresses. The president in the movie.
Yeah, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. All of this can be overwhelming, and sometimes it's a little difficult,
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that's not similar about Don't Look Up versus this is that climate change is not an asteroid.
Yeah.
It's not something that is going to completely destroy the world. There's no recovery, like that sort of thing. It could be that way, but for the most part, and it's going to be that way for many people. But we are in our situation fortunate enough that it's not going to kill us. It's just going to, make life difficult.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult to plan into the future when you know that something like that's happening. But I'd rather be planning into the future of a climate future than planning into a future of an asteroid destruction, because it's like, well, what's the freaking point of planning at that point,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that movie was hit a little too close to home. The part that got me was when the asteroid was in process of hitting the planet, and then it was just like all those depictions of what's happening around the world, and people that just have babies or like don't even know like it's happening is so sad.
Yeah. And it's just like now. There's a lot of people that don't not really, they don't know. Like, you could tell them about climate change and they'll be like, oh yeah, well, I have noticed that like it's been a little bit hotter. I haven't noticed that the storm season was a little bit wonky.
Yeah, but if people are like that, they're privileged, because people in sub-Saharan Africa are not questioning that information. Their crops are dying. People are, ending their lives or checking out because they don't have any livelihoods anymore. The Philippines just got battered by like 5 typhoons in a row and are completely, decimated. Those people do not have the luxury of questioning whether or not this is occurring. And that's why you do see in a lot of developing nations, like, the belief in climate change is way higher than it is here. There's the disinformation here for sure, but there's also the fact that we are privileged enough to go into our air-conditioned homes and not think about it. I mean, some of us do. Pacific Northwest, they don't got AC, so like, they feel it, and places in the U.S., people are not fortunate enough to quite get out of those extreme weather events, but it's a higher percentage of people here that are able to dissociate from it than people in other parts of the world.
Yeah, and what happens here, it unfortunately dictates a lot around the world. Like, not just because, like, on top of the fact that we shoulder a big part of the responsibility, but like, if we don't do anything, the rest of the international community doesn't feel the same, not pressure, but doesn't feel the same urgency as if, I don't know, the United States would tomorrow declare a climate emergency.
Right.
It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know how we're going to get the United States out of this trajectory unless we just move them away from thinking so corporate America to begin with, because it's just so ingrained in us to be thinking about short-term profits that it can be difficult to change where we're headed. And I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, like nowadays, you know, clean energy is the cheapest form of energy in the world. So like economically, free market wise, like we're still going to move towards clean energy. But to be able to move fast enough, we definitely need to find a way to get us out of that you know, corporate mindset. And it's just hard because the United States is literally a corporate democracy.
Yeah,
you know?
it's owned by corporations. It's controlled by corporations.
Hmm.
Money is what moves this country.
Yeah.
Money and capital is what moves this country. The capital class dictates what's happening, and if something like, say, clean energy doesn't benefit them, then they will squash it. It doesn't matter how many people are going to end up getting sick because of it. It doesn't matter how many people end up getting cancer. It doesn't matter how many houses are lost. It doesn't matter how many billion-dollar disasters we're going to have next year. It doesn't matter. If capital says this is not in my interest, then it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, though, that you know, reminds me to not think so federally, you know, because that's the case federally, is that we are beholden to the corporate shareholders and stuff. Locally, maybe some places, but it's a lot, like public officials are generally more interested on fulfilling the needs of their citizens, you know, and so that's where then you are able to better have the arguments that would not hold up in just a particularly capitalistic mindset, you know?
Yeah, that's why, like, I think that for the folks who are tired of it, and for the folks who are exhausted, and for good reason, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's disheartening, to say the least. We can kind of step back and say, okay, well, you know what? We don't have to deal with all this. Do what you can on the local level. Find out who your council members are. Find out when those local elections are. Who's running? Like, what are they working with? Does your council have a plan to, say, I don't know, dispose of plastics, or what are they going to do with that? Are they just dumping it in the landfill? Like, and things like this that have major impacts in your immediate surrounding area are probably the best way to start to build power. You do it from the bottom up, because I mean, we've gone through this song and dance 3 times now at this point. And totally, at least for me, we've done this song and dance 4 times, I want to say. I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 times at this point, playing the same old song and dance. And something's got to give, you know. And if we can't do it federally, and if the leaders on the federal level don't want to help us, that's fine. We will build power at the bottom and do what we can locally.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons, though, that I also like having experience working in the government. It's because sometimes when you're working as a nonprofit that's trying to negotiate with the government, you're like, why the hell is this process moving so slow? What is, you know, what are all the problems as to why we can't get it passed, or why you're not listening to me? And like being in the city itself, it's like, oh, that's why we're moving that slow, because we have to go through these, or like, you know, processes and stuff. And, you know, we have to find money for it through these grants. And, you know, like, I'm understanding now why the process is moving so slow, and there's a lot of like stupid reasons and a lot of good reasons, and so I really like working in the city because it just feels like I can get more done that way than feeling like I have to yell from the outside. So if anyone has the capacity to go into public office, it's a good position to get yourself in. We need more allies in those areas.
Yep.
Or run for city council.
Yeah, specifically in local in local politics. Yes.
Yeah.
Whether it be from city to state, that's all pretty important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yep, we keep moving. We keep moving because, what was there's like a quote that I like. It was in the last meeting with sustainability folks. Oh, it was, there's too much bad news to justify complacency. There's too much good news to justify despair.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. That's basically like the Beckisphere channel in a nutshell. That's Danella Meadows said that quote. And yeah, that's kind of just how I go. I'm like, okay, I found good news. All right, that keeps me going.
Yeah.
Yeah. What keeps you going?
Zevia Cola.
Cheers. I got my
There you
Red Bull.
go. There you go. Cheers. Just keep swimming. Exactly. Dory.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I have that tattooed on my arm.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I relate. It's a very good quote.
Yeah. The actual answer of what keeps me going is that I still wake up in the morning. So as long as there's a breath of life, then we keep going. there's no if and or buts about it. If you wake up in the morning and you are breathing, keep going. that's it. At least for me, to get up and look at the news every day and process and analyze every single day, or mostly because Monday to Thursday, but like be involved heavily as far as information wise. Just if I wake up, then we keep going. you know and it's important. You have to keep it up. Whether it's someone who works on the ground, someone who is part of media, someone who is, I don't know, an influencer. All of these things come together. What is it? Each according to his ability, right? And each according to one's need. So if you have that ability, then like, I don't know, keep going. Keep going.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And at the same time, take care of yourself, because you can't take care of the planet and all the needs and stuff if you're not taking care of yourself. We got the window open. I'm so proud of you, bub.
What a smart kitty. Look at that.
Oh, I love him. He's kind of an idiot. I'm not gonna lie. When him and Vetra meet, like, we all know that he's just gonna be like her little bitch. Like, that's it's good. He's a lover, not a fighter. Clearly, because of the one time he got out and got wrecked by another cat. Anyways, just getting up and going, that's already a victory, so that's a good way to start your day. Yep. My parents say you should make your bed because that makes you feel accomplished in the morning. I'm not good at that, so I heard that's a good thing to do.
Nah, what gets me up in the morning is like, all right, time to get up and get some coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I live for.
That's
right
how you
there.
Get up. The fresh smell of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Ooh, it's about to be 7:30. I gotta get out of here. A couple of things. Uh, most people already know where to find you, but like, you know, just in case. Uh, any other socials besides the YouTube that you wanna put there? Do you have like a blue sky? Yeah, you have a blue sky, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, blue sky. Instagram, like anything you want to throw out, you can. Um, and for the folks who haven't already, go to the YouTube channel. I'll put it on the thing. Where is it? I have it here.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, I am a climate communicator and now a climate public policy person. And I primarily am on YouTube, but I'm also on Twitch, and I also have a Blue Sky. And I haven't really been posting any climate content on like the Climate Recap YouTube or on the Climate Recap Instagram, but you can follow me on my regular Instagram if you just want to see what I'm up to. And I also do like just repost a lot of political news on my stories. And so all of it is just Beckisphere, except Instagram, which is the Beckisphere because someone took Beckisphere.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm pretty uniform on all those platforms. But yeah, you can see my snowboarding progress on my Instagram. So there you go.
Nice.
Yes, 'tis the season to be boarding. Fall and
Mm.
fall and fall and fall and fall.
Never snowboarded in my life. Never
Well,
snowboarded.
if you're ever in California, let me know. I'll teach you.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, by that I mean my boyfriend will teach you because he taught me. I'm still too new to actually teach anybody.
I mean, hopefully is it like skateboarding?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you can skateboard, you're already definitely at a good
Okay.
starting point. Yeah.
All right then. we're at least we're gonna start with the right foot forward.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I ride goofy, so that's because I'm a lefty, so everything's off for me. But
Which means you have your left foot forward or
means
right
I
foot
have my
forward.
right foot forward.
Gotcha.
Right foot forward. Yeah, because you have your dominant leg back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the same thing as skateboarding or not, but
That's the same thing.
okay. Yeah.
I'm right-handed, but I ride like a lefty.
Oh, so you're also goofy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm right. Well, I can write with both.
Oh, you're
so,
ambidextrous.
Yeah, so as far as skating, like I have to ride with my strong foot. My strong foot is my right forward, which is weird.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, then
it
maybe I
works.
can teach you because I know that one.
It works.
Yeah.
But if I try to do something on the skateboard, then I have to switch to the other side. So if I want
Oh,
to like
interesting.
do like the handful of tricks, I haven't done it in quite a while, but the handful of tricks that I used to be able to do, I would always have to switch because of I don't know, like I just could never be able to do the trick on one side and ride on that same side.
Oh, interesting.
It's awkward for me. Like I can, but it's always awkward to try to like keep skating on the same
Yeah.
side. So I would just like switch, and eventually got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do tricks anymore. I'm just gonna ride so I can stay on one side, and that's the end of that. That's how
Fair.
it ended up being. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I've never been snowboarding. I've never been like wakeboarding either.
I've never been wakeboarding, and I've never successfully skateboarded, but I like snowboarding because I like that my legs are together. Unlike skiing, I just don't want to do the splits. And
That sounds terrifying.
right?
If you fall the wrong way or something, I don't know.
Yeah. So I like snowboarding because it keeps things together. But this will be my second season being like an avid snowboarder. Last year I went like 8 times. and it was really fun. But there was snow until May, which was really weird. So it was a weird season last year. I don't expect that to happen, obviously, this year. Gotta love the snow while you have it, right?
Yeah.
So,
When does that start?
like December. Yeah, because the snowboarding place that I went to just opened this last weekend. So
Gotcha.
December until usually March.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mhm.
One of these years, I want to go to TwitchCon. One of these years, and I think that's in Cali. I'm pretty sure it's in Cali.
Probably in SoCal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The other state of
The
California.
the other state. I
Yeah.
think it was L.A. You know what? I'm talking crap because I don't remember where it is.
It probably is. Everything's in LA, right?
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. So they'll throw us off and they'll put it in like Montana or something.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's been wonderful talking with you, and I look forward to, continuing chatting. If there's any, climate related content that comes up that you want my takes on, I'm happy to provide a little, I guess, climate consult. I don't know.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. And I love these conversations, and hopefully we can do these conversations again. Maybe as more things happen, as the next year progresses. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and yeah, I'll keep sending you stuff climate related.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Hope you enjoy them.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, folks. That was pretty freaking awesome. Yes, thank you. Please shout out the Twitch channel. Thank you. Thank you, Michael Hasser. That was pretty freaking cool. Man, I appreciate that kind of stuff. Seriously, I appreciate those conversations. I think I think it's necessary from time to time. And I'm glad that we were able to do this, and I'm also going to try to get a couple people on and do like a little circuit. So yeah. All right, folks. It's about 7:30. I gotta get out of here. I think Carpet Packs posted a video. I'm actually pretty interested in this video. I'm gonna go back to it 1 second. Let's see if it'll if it'll play here.
You're just being incendiary.
Oh yeah, okay. I think it will actually. Let's see. Yeah, nice to know we aren't alone up in here. Exactly. The Daily Wire buys Timcast. No, seriously? Is that for real? Because that has never tracked more in my entire life. That has never tracked so hard. Is that like an actual thing, Joey John? I'm not disputing it because I totally believe it. I'm just curious. Finding links. All right, we're gonna play this before we get out of here. We're gonna play this video, and then we're out.
You're just trying to start class warfare.
Yes.
Class warfare is underway. It's been underway forever. We are just losing the class war because the default position is to give rich people whatever they want. Because rich people who hold all of the resources are waging a war both through the media and with resource distribution to stop people from fighting against them. Billionaire class and their mouthpieces telling you not to engage in class warfare, telling you not to start a class war is just them wielding the power they have obtained through class warfare to continue beating you at the class war. The top 20% of households in the United States own 86% of the total wealth in the country. Bottom 50% of households, half of people, own 2.6% of the total wealth. Those numbers are strikingly similar to numbers that you might have seen in, I don't know, France in 1789-ish. It makes sense why they wouldn't want us to be talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Exactly. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you all for stopping by. A huge shout out to the Beckisphere. I appreciate her coming on, and I appreciate Rue making an appearance as well. I've got nothing solid. Well, we'll look more into it. Because that's, I mean, like, listen, I would imagine that something like that would happen. You know, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially with Tim stepping back from doing his other stuff. That kind of tracks. Also, those who made Bernie Sanders impossible made Luigi Maggioni inevitable. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Send that to me, actually, in a direct message, Joey John. I'm actually pretty interested in that. Send it to me. I'll look at it after stream because I gotta get out of here. It's true. Oh goodness. I mean, I believe it. I believe it. All right, I gotta get out of here. Thank y'all for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways. Keep liking the stream on the YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and join us here. We're going to be here tomorrow. I've seen an F ton of anti-Semitic memes about Tim Pool joining Shapiro. Oh, yeah, okay, that tracks. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. Literally reading them now. Oof. We'll be back tomorrow around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you for your support. Thank you, Cognizant, for the tier 1 sub. Thank you, Manjan Misty, for the follow and for hanging out in chat. I appreciate it. Thank you to the offline follow, Vox Leona. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you to the Beckisphere. Thank you. Carpet Packs are also mixing it up in the chat. Go check them out as well. We'll be back tomorrow. Spread the word far and wide that this is one of the chillest places to be for the news, for the politics. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. As always, folks, please take care of each other. Please stay safe. And as always, I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow. See ya. Whew, that was pretty freaking awesome. Hang tight, folks.
Get lost on your way. Get lost on your free
All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.